Welcome, Sara.
Hi.
How many times have you been welcomed on stage as a rock star?
Never. The first time.
There's always a first time. Glad that you had it here. Let's talk about. We want to talk about. We could talk about so many things because I remember when Cocunat was born 3 years ago. We kind of like seen the evolution of the company, and you basically can give us maybe a little bit of the dimension of the company because I remember that things go very slow in a startup until they go very fast.
Yeah.
Right. So how did the company evolve for the first years up until the point you are now?
Yeah. I think it's important to understand that when you begin in a startup, sometimes you are thinking in one idea and you are very close to this idea, and sometimes you don't want to move it or pivot, but sometimes you need it. No, it's the thing with Cocunat. The company right now is 9 years old. And we began as a marketplace, and in that moment we sell products from third party. And in 5 years after this area, we decided to move and change everything, all the company, and open a beauty brand. And from this point, we were in red numbers all the time. But when we moved and changed the company, and first year we made our first million. The second year we multiplied by 3 and we made 4 million. And the third year we made 32 million. We multiplied by 8. And in 2021 we need to put the stop because we made this 32 million with only 15 people.
Wow.
For logistics, production, formulation, financing, customer love, and was completely crazy. And then we decided to stop everything, and because we need to build a company, no? Because with 15 people, you don't have a company. You have I don't know what, and this is how we made it.
So now, because you explained the first part, like in the first product you had, but not so much what you do right now. So what is the current business model?
Our current business model is we are a digital native beauty brand.
Mm-hmm.
We sell everything online. Only 5% in B2B, and the rest is direct to consumer. We are completely international. 65% of our sales is international. First country is Spain, but second is the United States. And we create and sell beauty products completely toxic free.
How can you explain the pitch that the Americans in the room will have to do when they go back to America to say like, hey, you should buy Cocunat products. They're so good. How can you explain it to them so that they take your products back too?
Okay, for the Americans, it's easy. For the Europeans, it's not so easy. But for I can go into to explain you because toxic free is something that in Europe is necessary, but not is the highest than America.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the regulatory in Europe is very strict, but not enough. But the list of the ingredients that are toxic and you can't use it is 2,100 ingredients
in Europe.
In Europe,
yeah.
But
and in the US,
we remove more than 9,000. Okay,
wow.
But in the list in United States is 13.
13. 1 3.
1 3.
So,
this is the list.
Okay.
And
no uranium, and that's it. Yeah.
Exactly. That's it. And
wow.
then you can imagine what's the job that need to do in America to have the same standard than Europe or than Cocunat, no?
Okay. There's one thing that maybe we should start from here because I remember we had a very candid conversation about like the evolution of the role of a CEO because you've been CEO since the inception of the company. But there's one thing you've done really well, which a lot of people here were asking for, which is you found a technical co-founder. How did you find him?
Well, I find two technical co-founders.
Okay.
It's not
Share.
a co-founder. Well, the first of all was my co-founder. We met in the past. We were working in the same, not in the same company, but we were in the same flat, that were different companies. And I remember I would like to create something like similar to 21 Buttons, but in 2012. And when I explain to people, anybody know and understand what I want to do it, and say, okay, you need to talk with Ignacy Faust. I think it's the only guy can understand what do you want, and say okay. And then I go, and in only 3 minutes, he understands everything, and I say, wow. And then I began to think I'm going to if someday I want to create another company, I will talk with him. After that, we say very good friends, and after that, partners, and after that, a couple.
Yeah, it is quite a story. I mean, we can get into that if you want, but like the part of business, which is I think it's much more relevant to the rest of people, is how did you distribute the tasks at the very beginning? Because it seems pretty clear. It's like, yeah, you do the technical stuff, I do whatever is not technical. But how do you do it in the things that intersect with one another, like product, marketing, fundraising sometimes? And
after to answer you, I'm going to say some tip, because I explained I have two CTOs or he didn't want my co-founder, but at the beginning I was alone and I need to hiring someone for a CTO. And for example, I hiring the CTO from one of the most important platforms in Latam, and he was completely a genius. And I hiring him because he wants to live in Barcelona, and I move everything flat. I speak with people to hiring a place for her wife and all of this stuff, and I can bring him to Cocunat when Cocunat was like 2 people only, no? And this is important. Don't think that maybe you need to find someone in Barcelona. Maybe you can find in Argentina, like me.
Yeah. How did you sell them the vision of what it was going to be? Because clearly, I think you were not paying salaries at the beginning. So you have to sell them the vision, right?
Sometimes the vision, sometimes it's what they want. Because they want to come to Barcelona and live the life of Mediterranean.
Yeah, but like a technical person could find a job anywhere in Barcelona, like, whatever type form, travel perk, whatever, and they joined you, right?
Yeah, well, it's important to explain a great idea, a great project, and explain that you are going to do something different than the other places, no? I think it's very important that you inspire when you are explaining your project, no?
So you started off as then 2 co-founders only?
Yeah, 2
okay.
co-founders.
Well, I mean, you started alone, then Ignacy joined as a co-founder kind of like a little bit later.
And then
exactly.
how, no?
Was that?
How we manage our...
Exactly, yeah, the distribution of tasks. That I think it's very important.
It's easy for us because we are completely 2 profiles, completely different. Because I'm marketing, product, formulation, and we are more not the technical part or technological part, and he is an engineer and CTO, and he loves all the numbers around algorithm and this stuff. And then it was easy for us to understand who can manage one thing or another. But the point to be the CEO or not, this was the difference, because I'm the entrepreneur. If you talk with Ignacy, you can see he loves to stay alone with their coding, and he can't or he don't like he doesn't like it to talk in places or go to funding or things like that, no? And for this reason, I decided to. It's something that I have it, no? You have the meaning of being the entrepreneur, no? It's something that you are something different, and Ignacy doesn't have it. For us, was very easy to do it.
In fact, I remember like we had a conversation about, there's several stages of a company, and at the beginning you're alone or you have a co-founder, maybe you have one or two friends helping, and you have to be a generalist because you have to go like, buy stuff and then do a little bit of hiring, put up a website, play some Facebook ads, and you have to be a generalist, deal with lawyers, whatever, all kinds of operations. And as you scale the company, you have to let go of certain parts, which is not obvious because you still want to do the website, but your time is not best spent there. My point being, so I remember that you mentioned that you had to do certain things when you mentioned, I am the entrepreneur. Like, what were the like the crazy things you did as a CEO, thinking outside of the box that you can recall from the early days of Cocunat? It's something creative, like, okay, I did it because I was desperate, or
Well, there are many, no? For example, one of the biggest failures or screw-ups that I made it was at the beginning of Cocunat. We don't have money, and then we don't have time and money to hiring someone for accounting and financials. And then we decided to use technology to manage all the financial numbers of Cocunat. And then, inside of this code, we inside some rules like the margin, the bread counting. We have points of our clients have a program of points, and we put in this information inside. And when you have with all of these things, you have a small fail, or you have a small error. Don't happen something because you are small. But if you in a month you you multiply by 7, this error begins to be big.
Yeah.
And this error happens with the margin and arrives in August. And in August, we multiply by 8, by 7 in 1 month, in July, and arrive August. And then we go to see our cash and say, okay, there is no money.
But on the dashboard, there is money.
But in the dashboard, yes, what's happened? And you need to imagine we are maybe 3 in that moment in the team, and then we are completely desperate because we need to pay salaries, we need to pay distributors, and we need to pay everything. And you began to call to investors, to bank and everything, and no one. There is no one in Barcelona or in Spain. In August is no one. And then we don't know what, and then say to my parents, say, Ignace, please open the lab and see the laptop, and please look it in eDreams, and we are going to buy some flight tickets. And say, what? Yes. The cheapest. I don't remember where. And the price, the same, and we take 2 and go to the airport, and Ignacio say me, you're crazy, and say, no, right now, look it. Right now, you have all the credit cards people. They are selling credit cards like Visa and MasterCard and American Express. Yeah. And you say, instant money right now. And we began. Normally, when you arrive to the airport, you are dodge these guys because you don't want that, because you have rush or something. And we are directly, okay, yes, I leave you my everything, what you need. And at the end of the day, we finish with, I don't remember, but more or less 7 or 8 cards. And with these cards, we pay everything, and we arrive and pass and survive August and arrive to September.
But you didn't take the plane, right?
No.
Fuck the plane, yeah. How much, because that's a pretty American thing to do, right? Kind of like people leave off the credit card and everything. And even it's famous that some companies were founded on the credit, basically taking like 17 different credit cards and then paying month to month. Not here. That's what I'm super surprised about that. How much money did you actually get out of the credit of these credit cards, more or less?
I think it was around
50,000, 30,000.
Yeah, 30,000.
Okay, wow, which is like for Barcelona, it's quite a lot of money. Wow, that's something crazy. Like But how did you come to this idea? Like, what's the mental process of thinking, like, I know there's credit cards, we can do that. Was it like complete desperation or?
Well, part of the desperation, of course, but the other part is when you are an entrepreneur, you know you don't have net. No, you don't have net. You in any moment you can fall, and for this reason you need to have plan A, B, C, D, F, Z, everything, because if you if you don't survive, you can arrive to get your objectives. And then at the beginning, one of your objectives is to survive, and then
How many times have you been close to actually shutting down the company?
from the first 3 years, I think each month,
Okay.
more or less. Yes, because when we opened Cocunat, was in 2013. In this area was the time of Groupon, Grupalia, and Let's Bonus,
Rivalia.
and at this time the investors say me, I don't want to invest in e-commerce because the e-commerce right now doesn't work, and blah 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 blah. And then right now when you want to do a founding, now I can see 500,000, 1,000,000. No. In my time was 15,000, 30,000, and then when I arrived to this, maybe this 15,000 was 1 or 2 months, and then I need to say hello. I'm going to go a trip of founding in 3 days to Madrid, and I need to find 30,000 or whatever to survive. For the reason that first 3 years was.
Wow. How did you survive that mentally? How did you overcome the stress of like, wow, maybe next month I cannot pay employee salaries or I have to discontinue product line or maybe shut down the company?
Well, if you want to be an entrepreneur, it's important to be unconscious.
Okay. Like drunk all the time.
Yes, you need it, because if you don't have this inside of you, if you are not unconscious, you can't resist this life, no? Because it's all the time you need to looking for plan B, plan C, and during the first years, no? And after that is easy. It begins comes other things, no? But the first 3 years or 4 years, it's very hard.
How do you like? Let's take it a little bit more forward, because one of the things I'm really interested is like, how do you what I mentioned earlier in the beginning, right? You scale the company at a certain point, you're like, I cannot do everything, right? I cannot do as a CEO. I notice it myself. Like I love writing on the blog of my company or doing some marketing stuff, but I know my time is best spent maybe doing sales, even though it's not something I love. But as a CEO, you have to do, right? Probably in your case, more like product and fundraising and strategy. I don't know what kind of CEO you are, but I cannot be like the marketing guy anymore in the company, right? How do you let go? How do you convince yourself that you have to let go of certain parts of the company that you love doing and you think nobody else can do it as good as you?
Yeah, this is I think is the most difficult thing for a CEO and co-founder that begins like me, because at the beginning I was alone. Mm-hmm. And then when begins to grow, you need to understand that, for example, from just to the 5 year, on these years I don't have the enough money to pay a good salaries. And then all my colleagues were very junior.
How many people were you until the 5th year?
8, 9.
Okay.
Not so much, but these 8, 9 people, they were very junior, very impressive and hard and amazing people, but very junior. Yeah. And then I am a super controlling person. Right now, not so much, but at this moment, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah.
And then it's very hard to live some things that you want to do exactly that you want to someone that is junior. And then during many years, I was making micromanaging.
Okay.
But in the third year, Ignacy came to the company because he was in another job and begins to be 100% in Cocunat and say me, you can do this all the time because I wake up. I was in the office at 8 and I go back to my home at 3 a.m. every day during 3 years and no holidays and things like that. And say you can do this. And he explained me one thing that for me was the clue to do the next step. That is the phases of delegate. It's like I do, you watch, I do, you do, you do, I watch, and you do. You know
I
that?
didn't know that.
No?
No.
It's unbelievable because if you do this, it's very easy that you can explain how you want the things for juniors. Maybe for C-level, no. But for juniors, it's perfect because first you do and he or you watch. And the second is I do, you do. And the third is you you do and I watch. And the last is you do.
Okay, so that's kind of like usually what I use is if it's urgent and important, I do it. If it's urgent but not important, like so, like kind of like that, right? But maybe you cannot do it with junior people because that requires different training, right? I didn't know. Like, has it got any name that I can like Google that kind of workflow that you were using this framework?
No.
Or was it something Ignacy made up completely?
Yeah. Okay. Ignacy helps me a lot in this because he is an engineer and very effective person, and I'm completely I am a workaholic, and always I'm thinking, okay, we can do this, and maybe you need 10 hours to do it. I'm going to do it. I don't think that you need to spend 10 hours. Ignacy wait at some moment, begins to think and say, okay, you can do it like this. And 10 minutes is do it. No, it's the difference between how uh, an engineer think and then someone that is not. And with these things, he helps me a lot. And he helps me how I need to prioritize and all of this. And he helps me a lot during the 2 first years that he was in Cocunat. This is the 4th and the 5th year that in Cocunat to help me to live and to prioritize and then he helped me a lot.
Okay, so basically, let's recap for a second here. You're a workaholic and a micromanager. How do you do it with the hiring? Do you tell them that up front? No, because that's a serious question, right?
Yeah, very,
actually,
very
you know, when you hire people, I think that one of the things that most companies do wrong is they never let other people know how is going to be their day to day in the company, right? They sell them the vision, oh, you're going to do this and that, but like not exactly how they're going to work day to day. So how do you explain this to your employees or future employees?
It's important to understand.
You don't do hiring.
No, but I learned how to delegate before that happened 2020.
Okay.
Because in 2020, remember, explode Cocunat, we multiply by 8, we were 15 person, and then in 2021 we need to hiring because in the first Q1 of 2021, from these 15 people, 10 they need to leave Cocunat because they were completely upset or they explode too and burn out completely. And then in 2021, the first thing I made was have a HR manager to help me because we need to pass from 15 person to 15 people to 80 in maybe 3 months, and then your size, you need to double your size or triple your size, and then it's important to need to understand what do you need. No, it's something that maybe it seems is easy, but it's not easy because sometimes you don't know in each part, because in this moment I don't have sea level, and then I need to create the sea level, but at the same time during I'm creating the sea level, I need to hiring people for juniors and middle management, and then to understand what do you need for each area and which kind of people, the values of the company, because not everyone can stay in a startup.
Mhm.
It's very hard. The timing is very, you are rushing all the time, and this is one for me was very important to have a HR manager to help me to understand all the organization, what we need and everything. For me was something very, very important because I explain you, I'm very controlling, and then uh, um, was difficult to understand that I need to leave this part and to do another guy or a team, completely team to do this. No, for example, production. And right now I have 15 people in production. No, in 2020 will be 2 person. No, it's like
But you are like 80 something now or more than that in the company?
what?
How many people are you in the company
Right now, 84.
84. So more or less every 10 people, you have to hire somebody who's like operations, right? A product
Yes.
manager, project manager, head of people, whatever, right? Or HR. What would you, which one do you think was the single key hire that you did in the company? Like this one was the first that kind of like transformed the company
Yeah.
outside of the founders.
2 person for me.
Okay.
My COO,
Yeah.
the operations, is the most important. And she helps me to grow the company. I hired before the pandemic.
Okay.
And imagine when during the pandemic,
Yeah.
all the manufacturers once closed.
Yeah.
And the China was closed. And because remember, I manufacture, I create, manufacture, and sell products.
Yeah.
And then during this time, I multiply by 8, and I don't broke stocks during this
Yeah.
time. And he was unbelievable, and he got the company and do everything was unbelievable.
Mm.
And the second was the CFO.
A CFO. Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's the first time I hear this, but like maybe people they still don't understand what a CFO is. But I mean, like some entrepreneurs are like, yeah, I need a CFO. He or she does something, and that's it. But like in your case, how did that help your company?
A lot. First of all, I had another CFO and in 2019, but he was a not junior, but was for a company of 4 million, not for a company of 32
for that
million.
stage was good.
No,
Yeah.
And it's important that manage a horse of 4 million is not the same for 32 million. It's not the same.
Yeah.
And in 2020, we made a lot of errors in financing.
Oh.
And he screwed up, and can imagine. And we need to change the CFO to a big CFO from Privalia.
Okay.
And she transformed the company more structured, the numbers very clear. It's very important what kind of information you can share to your shareholders, and this changed completely, and the structure of the company begins in the numbers. Mm-hmm. And Cocunat changed completely. It's another company right now.
I didn't know that this happened. So you had to replace the CFO. Maybe let's stop a little bit here. How do you replace somebody in the C level of the company? Because like that's something I think we've never touched in like 120 events that we've done.
How?
Yeah. Because I understand it's quite critical. Because like the
very
shares,
critical. We need 1 year and a half, more or less.
Exactly.
To change the
board,
CFO.
Probably. Yeah.
And it not only because it's a C level, it's because he has this person is managing very critical information of the company.
Correct.
The shareholders, the banks,
Yeah.
no? Because, for example, if you maybe you can't move this person because they have permissions for banks.
Correct.
And,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult, and at the same time is very hard because you are needing to change, and you need to have triple faces, no? One face with him, one face with your investors, and other face with people that you are hiring, no?
Yeah.
And it's difficult because it's very long. It's not 1 month, it's 1 year and a half.
Yeah.
And you need to manage all the problems that this person is doing, and talking with the investors, that you need to understand, you need to have balance between what information critical you can tell to your investors, your shareholders, and what you prefer don't say it, no?
Yeah.
But and this is very, very difficult and critical. It's
Spot on. But the other part of the question was, how do you hire C-levels? Because it sounds easy, like, yeah, I'm going on LinkedIn and then post something like, I want a CTO, I want a COO. No, because normally when you hire super senior people, especially in your scale-up phase, right? You don't hire somebody from a startup that is smaller than yours. You are somebody that maybe comes from the industry, right? Privalia, and maybe somebody from Chanel, or maybe somebody from whatever, right? But they come with a lot of baggage. They come with another culture. Maybe they come like, they think they can teach you how to do things because they're like, motherfucker, I come from a Puerto English. I know how to do this. You know, I sell way more than you will ever sell alone, right? So how do you first off select these kind of people so that they don't create a company culture problem?
We met many times
Okay.
during this time, but we learn one thing is people from the industry, to me, doesn't work in
Okay.
Cocunat or in a startup because, as you say, they
They're
have
too
another
corporate?
culture. They are very corporate, very process protocols. And for example, in my industry, from just you create or you have an idea and you launch the product, maybe spend 2 years, and in Cocunat is 3 months. No, that you need to be very fast and in decisions, in protocols, in everything. And someone that comes from an industry, is a shock. They can understand the culture of Coconut. And normally you go to hiring or fishing people from startups grow than yours, no?
Mhm.
For example, Privalia, Globo, and others. And then you need to
I think there's somebody from Global, right, tonight? So maybe don't go. No, don't say it publicly.
yeah,
Just do it.
you need to fix very well how their culture and your culture fix it or not. And this is very important because we are scaling and we are being a startup. The things making like a startup, we decide very fast, and sometimes in the big company that as a startup doesn't happen. And this is one thing. And the other thing is, in Barcelona is a hub of technology, is a hub of entrepreneurs, and you need uh, to show something that other companies don't have. And for example, no, in Coconut right now we are 99% or close of the managers are women, and this makes very comfortable for other women because they feel that they can grow in this area. They don't feel that you are thinking, okay, you have kids, you don't have kids, and things like that. Or for example, we are pet friendly. You say.
I know.
You see?
I don't like dogs, but
You see, we have 8 dogs in the office.
it's a challenge. But yeah.
Yeah, and we manage many things that you fall in love from the company. No,
Mhm.
It's important what you want, but at the same time, it's important that you inspire and this person wants to come to Cocunat. No,
Mhm.
and it's both. And normally you are going to fishing. No,
Yeah, you can like cherry pick the person, but it's pretty complicated because you think, oh, maybe it's a lot of word of mouth.
yeah,
Right?
and
Did
many
you use
times
word of mouth
it's
or headhunting agencies, maybe?
no word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Okay.
Yeah, and it's complicated because sometimes you know the CEO from this and send you a WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Say,
that's good. Let's
hey!
go into that. How do you do that? How do you manage? You call the CEO, usually say like, look, I'm interested in this person. I'm gonna make him an
Sometimes
offer.
yes and sometimes no.
Okay.
Because
Can you
this
elaborate?
happens all the time.
Okay.
And sometimes you use if you know if a key person, yes, you call and say
Okay.
hey. But if it's not a key person, it's a product manager or things like that. Normally, someone say, "Hey, right now is in Coconut," or "Right now is in whatever."
Yeah.
And because happen the same.
Okay.
People is hiring all the time from other companies.
That's interesting. Like usually the way I do it when I don't do it very much, but I hired a couple people from my previous company and I called the manager there, maybe not the CEO because he doesn't even know that he's got thousands of employees, right? But I called the manager of the Barcelona office and like, hey, because we're friends and I don't want this to interfere in our relationship, but I'm gonna hire this person. I'm gonna send an offer to this person, right? So I think that's kind of the protocol. But yeah, maybe once you do it like 3-4 times, it's like whatever.
Yeah,
They're
sometimes
used to it, right?
Yeah, next week is he who catch up someone and it's like
Next time it's gonna be like, next week's going to be
if I
somebody
think
else.
it's if this person is key person, yes, then
Okay.
you call and explain why. And normally, for example, from Ecultra happened this, and she said, call it,
Okay.
please, and explain.
You
And
call Timo?
Mm.
Okay. Oh, maybe you didn't. Of course, not gonna tell him. Not gonna tell him. He's been here on stage. I mean, he's already been here, so
Yeah.
I will not tell him. Couple of quick questions to kind of like to wrap this up and open the floor for questions because I know the audience has got a lot of questions. The first one is what has your most expensive fuck up been?
Oh, yes, I know. Was my first.
The first one is the most
The
expensive?
first one. When Cocunat was a PowerPoint.
Okay.
It was like that. We were looking for a funding.
Yeah.
We need 30,000 euros for open Cocunat.
Yeah.
And I have two investors and 15 in 15. And I going to send the LOI, no, the LOI.
Yeah.
And I write everything. And when I need to put the valuation of the company, I will be wrong. And I write another valuation and say, okay, right now you have 5 points more.
Okay.
This was the first group, but
I mean, it was not expensive then. It's expensive now because you
at
you
that
diluted
moment,
yourself
yes, and
more.
now more.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
because at that moment you think, okay, I need to go many rounds and blah blah blah, but right now, yes, they are very happy
Yeah.
of that. But this, for example, helps me to understand how the investors think because mm, they are thinking in their numbers, not in your numbers, not in your necessity, it's in their necessity. And this helps me a lot to understand this and how to manage the information, the critical information, and all of these things. I think it's not the it's not about how many times you screw up, it's how many times you learn about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and how you can follow it.
Exactly. What's the craziest thing you did during COVID, like during the lockdown and whatnot for your company?
Um, Two things.
Okay.
One was and I don't know if the girl from Italy maybe she remember, but in Italy I don't know why, but they closed during the
Lockdown. Yeah.
lockdown. They closed areas inside the cities.
Yeah.
No, and then, for example, we want to send products and they don't arrive because exists something like
there were controls and
controlling, and then they
have the colors, right?
Yeah.
There's red and there's more red. Yeah.
Exactly. No.
More dangerous.
And then we decided to put in touch with our clients and say, hey, if you go to this board or and take the products, we can pay or can send you more products, and if you can deliver the products in your area.
They distributed them for you. So like you paid your clients
Yes.
to be your global writers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. This is during the COVID. This is one thing, and the other thing was remember the lockdown. All the manufacturers want to close because the people were very scaring.
Yeah.
And then I decided to go to talk with my manufacturer and talk with all their employees and explain why I need to open the manufacturer and please and I don't know. I think I swear or something.
Yeah.
Or because we need to open because we need to deliver all the products, and then I opened. We were talking with I think 15 or 20 employees and explain that we needed and make many things with them. I send taxis to go to their home, to go to the manufacturer and things like that.
Oh yeah.
And to continue production. And this was very crazy because the owner of the factory said me, you want to talk with my employees? And say, yes, please, because I need it. I need to manufacture. And he was very, very nice, and he led me to talk.
It's easy. You talk to the employees of somebody else's company. Like that's pretty crazy. Last question. You have we've got a signature question at Star Brand Barcelona. So if you've come to an event prior to this one, you know what's coming. But what is your useless superpower? Something you do exceptionally well, but it's fucking useless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have two things.
Okay. You always have got two things.
I
got two co-founders. I got two fuck ups. I got two. Okay.
Yeah, well, this helps me thinking in numbers because I am dyslexic.
Okay.
Always is something that guide me.
Okay.
But my two things. One is obvious. Run by high heels.
Okay.
And
I mean, they look pretty sporty.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
This is one. And
the
other one.
You can run a marathon probably, but.
Not a marathon, but 100
100 meters. Right.
Yes, and sure I win. I tell you.
Okay.
And the second one is hypnotize someone doing like this. I don't know, when I'm thinking and I am in a meeting, I don't know why I'm thinking doing this.
This is how you hypnotize your investors?
Yeah. This is the secret.
I don't know how to
This is the secret.
Yeah. It's kind of like in the Matrix when they're like, look here, like they flash them. Okay. That was phenomenal. Thank you very much. Give it up for Sara. I don't know how to do it. Like, how many years have you trained to do that? Did you do this as a kid?
I think all my life. I don't know. One day someone told me, Sara, how you do this? And say, oh.
It's natural.
It's natural. It's like when I'm thinking in a meeting, I do this always.
All right. Very good. All right, let's open the floor for questions. So one question per person. Say your name, and we get time for some questions before. But just to be sure, like if you ask questions, you're separating us from the beers and the food. No pressure. Okay. Yeah.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much. My name's Chloe. My question was about the sacrifices that you've made Obviously, you've said you're a workaholic and you work incredibly hard, but I'm just interested to hear your opinion. Obviously, you made them willingly, but I wondered what those sacrifices were in the time you've put into Cocunat.
Well, I think the biggest um, sacrifice is your social life. No, and you forget your social life. You don't have friends. Not have time. Not have time for family. Not have during the first years. It's like that. I think it's the social life is the hardest. Um, I lost many friends. I found a couple, but later.
I mean, it was
yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah, but later
Yeah.
after that, and my mom didn't say me during this time, and I think it's the social life. Or for example, if you want to have family and these things, of course we can manage because women can do many things at the same time, but it's very hard. It's very hard because right now I'm a mom from 3 kids. Not it's not my kids because it's from my couple, but I am a mom, and right now I need to manage a company and a family is very hard, and but it's not a sacrifice because you want to do it, no, and I can tell you can do it, but it's hard, but this is not means impossible.
Mm-hmm. No. More questions? Yeah. Does it work? No. Can you switch it off maybe? Let's see. But it's also for the video. So you want to have. There's another.
Yeah.
There's another one here if you want. And then there's two more. Yeah. I mean, part of losing your social life is because of the first years you also cannot afford it because you don't have money.
No.
So you lose friends because like, oh, we're going to the cinema. It's like, I just spent all my money on Facebook ads. Like things like
yeah, but it's not only that. It's,
Yeah.
You don't have
Yeah,
time.
no.
You don't have time,
Yeah, I
and
know.
and the time that you have, you are sleeping.
Yeah. Not when you've got children.
Exactly.
So you lost friends and you gained children. So it's kind of like evens out in a sense.
Yeah, you are heroes, superheroes. Women are superheroes.
They are indeed. No.
Thank you. Okay, that's better. Hola, I'm Samantha Cuellar, and my question is, did you have a job before you started at Cocunat, and if you did, at what point did you quit your day job to start your entrepreneurship?
Before Cocunat, I was an entrepreneur. I create nosotros.com, but before that, I had a job, a current job. But this thing is, I think, is to have clear. If you want to create a company, your focus will be you need to focus only and on in your company. If you have a job and another thing, not. For this reason, and many times I explain, and thanks for Ignacy, because during this time he can help me, paying me a salary, and I was the CEO and the founder at the beginning because he was in another job and he paid everything. And but someone of the co-founders need to be completely focused on the company. If you don't do this, doesn't work.
One.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
for sharing.
One more, maybe? Oh. And all of a sudden, there's 4 people. Where were you in the beginning? Okay, let's do it very quick.
Hi, Sara. Thank you so much for your tips. My name is Mariana, and my question to you is in those times where you said you wanted to give up literally every month, what made you keep going?
Good question.
I think you want to prove that you can, no? And you have a dream or you have an objective. I would like to say objective by dream you are dreaming all the time and happen nothing. And when you have an objective, you are doing things. And but you want to say, I can do it. I can. And this has to suffer many things and to jump all the problems that you have and solve the problems. And I think it's to say to yourself, I can.
So to kind of prove it to yourself that
Yeah, because and I think it's a kind of person. Not all the people can do this.
Yeah.
This is very important. Sometimes they, in many places in television, the government say everybody can be an entrepreneur. It's not true. It's not true. And sometimes you are a founders, and one founder is not an entrepreneur, because entrepreneur never give up and have the guide and have all the plans. And this is something that is natural in an entrepreneur. And I think inside of this is that you can want to prove it that you can. I think inside of this is this, but an entrepreneur never give up. It's like this.
thank you.
Real quick, can we take one, two more? Real quick. 30 seconds questions. 30 seconds answer.
Hi, my name is Zarella. I'm curious about your comment about the funding you requested from the investors and that they were actually more interested in their funding or what they were looking for. What would you have done differently? Did you think you would ask for more money at that time?
Yeah, many times, of course, but not. And it's true the difference between the I don't remember the word. The culture of Barcelona at that moment, we don't have all the connections that we have right now. To find business angels was very difficult. Right now, you go to First Thursday and at this place, in many places, you can find business angels. In 2013, no. It's all the connections that we have right now are completely different. And it's true at the same time, the size of the companies. Maybe at this time you are in Barcelona, maybe we were 50 or 30 companies, startups. Right now we have thousands. I don't know.
We don't know.
No, it's unbelievable. Then the culture and the structure of funding and entrepreneurs in Barcelona or in Madrid not was the same. But I tried a lot, and I can explain that. For example, I give you an example. I have how do you say, the record, el record, the record from IES. From one afternoon, I have the record to funding
Okay.
in all the life of IES. The funding
So you raised the most money in one afternoon, Anna?
in
wow.
the history of IES.
Because you pitched that yesterday was like an angel.
Yeah,
study.
and this is not was because we need to grow the company and arrive to have the numbers, the right numbers for this kind of investment in that moment. Because maybe right now we are beginning in a special moment, but at this normally right now the investors are more not are traditional. No, in this time they were very traditional and don't want to invest not so much, and that right now it's very easy to fund money right now. The raising is easy.
Thank you.
One last question. I'm sorry, we'll not be able to take all of them. Just one last question.
Hello, Sara.
You will be like the bad cop of this. Like you choose. Oh, you have already chosen?
Hello, Sara.
Blame it on
Thanks
me.
for all your comments. Two questions. Two things.
One question. You choose.
Two biggest obstacles: one to launching the product locally, and two expanding globally.
From the beginning, we think in global. This is very important for a code, for how you create the structure of the company, of the website. Because if tomorrow you want to introduce another dollar or a coin, it's very important to have this information at the beginning. Always we're thinking global, but it's true in 2021 and 2020, because in 2019 we were a very local company, and maybe we sell in France and Portugal and not more. But in 2020, we have an amazing opportunity that was the demand of the advertisement fall completely, because the people from the industry was closed. And then I began to try some ads in the United States, in Germany, and others. And I find that I can arrive to this client with the same CAC, with the same CAC than Europe, and I open it. But if I didn't think in these questions before, I can do it fast in 2020.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Please give it up, Sara.